The pro-life movement confronts abortion in the culture, at the ballot box, and in the courts. Our next guest is a leading legal voice who has helped argue or shape major cases involving abortion policy, including litigation before the U.S. Supreme Court.
Erin Hawley serves as Senior Counsel and Vice President of the Center for Life and Regulatory Practice at Alliance Defending Freedom. Erin, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks so much for having me. Great to be here.
So Erin, just to start, what role do the courts play in promoting a culture of life?
So that they have a crucial role. Of course, their most important role in the last 50 years was returning the issue of abortion to the states, allowing the people finally to protect life. But even today, there are vital and crucial roles. One case currently pending before the Supreme Court is called First Choice. And First Choice is a case about a New Jersey pregnancy center that has helped tens of thousands of women. And for that good deed, that put them in the crosshairs of the New Jersey Attorney General, who demanded scores of documents, years worth, decades worth, including their donor names, which is protected by the United States Constitution. So oral argument was heard on that a couple of months ago, and the court seemed poised to tell New Jersey and other blue state attorney generals to back off.
Okay, so you feel optimistic
We
about
do.
that
We're
one.
very hopeful.
And Erin, you've argued in the Supreme Court on the issue of abortion, specifically the abortion pill, challenging the FDA's decision to remove key safeguards to the abortion drug mifepristone. Can you explain, Erin, has the FDA been negligent in its treatment of mifepristone?
Absolutely. As the Trump administration has acknowledged, the Biden administration's removal of the only opportunity for a woman to sit down and talk with the doctor before they are giving not only a life-ending drug to the baby, but a drug that has a black box warning. Roughly 1 in 25 women end up in the emergency room after taking this drug, some of them alone in their dorm rooms or at home, miles from an emergency room. It was absolutely not good medicine to remove this last remaining safeguard. And it's also allowed abortion pills to flood into even pro-life states across those borders, allowing women to be coerced. We represent a woman named Rosalie. She was forced to take the abortion drug by her partner. That drug killed her child, which she regrets to this day.
Lord have mercy.
Oh, that's so sad. Now, the issue on mifepristone was kicked back to the lower courts. Do you anticipate it raising again to the Supreme Court level?
We do. Louisiana has challenged the removal of that safeguard, that in-person visit that at least allowed women to see a doctor before being prescribed such a dangerous drug. That removal, as the Biden administration conceded, there wasn't enough evidence for that to happen. The evidence actually showed that more women, more than the 1 in 25, will end up in the emergency room with potentially life-threatening complications. So there will be a hearing on that in February in Louisiana, and we hope that the courts recognize the unlawfulness of this order.
We'll definitely be watching that closely. It's a totally new pro-life landscape with, with access to the abortion pill. Erin, you recently launched, along with your husband, Senator Josh Hawley, a new nonprofit organization called the Love Life Initiative, and it's aimed at boosting a pro-family, pro-life culture in the U.S. What would a pro-family and more pro-life culture look like here?
Sure. So sort of the idea behind this was when Jesus talks about life, that Zoe form of life that's not just surviving, not just getting through, but life abundant. And that's something that families help. Flourishing families are the bedrock of our society. They're what makes it possible to support and love children. So we want a society that enables men and women to be able to provide for that family. So it's an economic policy. It's valuing the inherent worth of each and every child, regardless of what they might look like or disabilities or those sorts of things, and recognizing that we're all created in the image of our God.
Amen. And are there any special initiatives that you guys are working on?
Sure. So one thing we want to do is just convince people of the value of life. One of the most disheartening interviews I heard was an interview where they were talking, discussing abortion, and the pro-life advocate was actually very, moderately pro-life. But the host on the other side said, life just isn't all that valuable, is it?
Oh, that's devastating.
And that perspective is so unbiblical. It's so contrary to worth. And so we hope to be able to change public opinion. We hope to be able to run ad campaigns. Our home state of Missouri has the potential to reverse an amendment that allowed abortion up until birth, as well as gender transition procedures, as quote unquote health care. So these things are percolating again, and we're hoping to be able to convince Missouri voters and others that the life life matters.
Amen. And you know, that comment that you mentioned, that it's so anti-biblical, we wonder why the depression rates are so high. It's people feel that their life has no value.
Yeah, just instilling that hope into them, and hopefully the witness on the streets is a bit
Yes.
of that as well.
Yes.
Erin, you know, this is kind of a big picture question, but we're talking about laws, we're talking about culture.
Yes.
From your perspective, do you think politics is downstream from culture when it comes to the life issues specifically, or should pro-lifers focus more on culture? Is it a both and? What are your thoughts there?
I think it has to be both and,
Yeah.
right? Because we have to have the politicians that are standing for life. I'm so proud of my husband for taking the stand he does for life. But we also have to have regular moms and dads that are supporting their families, that are encouraging others to get married and to have kids. I loved, that's one of the things that Charlie Kirk was so good at. Like, get married, have a family. There's nothing better. We're all searching for meaning in life, and so much of that is by giving of yourself. When you have a baby, it's the hardest thing in the world, but it's also the most rewarding thing in the world.
Erin, this is one of the marches post-Dobbs. What reflections do you have on just like where we are at this moment?
So I think it's a moment of immense opportunity. We now are no longer shackled by Roe, incidentally decided by 7 men who said that, you know, women, that motherhood shackled them to a bleak future. Nothing could be further from the truth. And now we have the opportunity to right that wrong, to demonstrate that motherhood is not something to denigrate, but something to celebrate, that there's nothing more valuable to our culture or country.
Thanks for being such a joyful witness of motherhood and for joining us, Erin Hawley. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.